Hi everyone, I'm Leandra from PaperArtsy, and today I'm here to introduce to you topic 8 of the PaperArtsy blog challenge, and this time we're doing sprays. So topic 8 will go through till till May the 10th 2015, and it's a chance for you to really explore sprays and different types of sprays and what the features of those are. So I'm going to run through a few options. Sprays are just one of my favourite things to work with. They're really versatile and they're a lot of fun. You can just do a zillion different things. So I've prepared a few surfaces, and I kind of want to just talk you through a few different options that are out there. There's obviously zillions on the market these days. One of the earlier ones that I ever worked with was the Adirondack Colour Wash Spray by Ranger. These were aimed at the textile market, so they're a permanent spray onto fabric, which is fantastic. It means they're washable and all that kind of thing. But of course you can use them on papers as well, so they're really nice if you want to use them on a paper. It's not a problem at all. Because they are permanent, they will stain your hands much more readily than some of the other sprays out there, so you just want to be aware of that. So that's lettuce, that's that colour there. The next spray that I started working with quite a lot was the Glimmer Mists, and these the colours of these are a lot softer on the whole, so you don't have the intensity of colour that you might have with the Adirondack, but a really pretty spray, and some of them have got, well, they've all got gorgeous mica colours running throughout them, and the main thing with this is when they're dry, sometimes the mica can rub off onto your hand, so there obviously isn't a binder in that product to keep the mica bound to the paper once it's dry, so that's just something to bear in mind. But you know, they're a really lovely product, and they dry well on all kinds of surfaces, so porous and non-porous surfaces they dry really well on. Some of the newer sprays that I've used, like Colour Bloom, I find the Colour Bloom doesn't seem to dry as well on a non-porous surface as some other sprays out there, but you know, the colours, they've got nice vintage tones, and then they've got brighter tones as well, so you know, it's just really what floats your boat. This is Perfect Pearls Mists from Ranger, and this particular one, it's basically a clear water, but it's got mica in there, so it's just like adding a bit of sparkle but no colour. And so these are quite nice. You can add them on top of other layers, I find is quite good, but you do have to be careful, because if you do that whole rolly with the paper towel thing, what you're going to likely do is remove all the mica that tends to float on the surface. So that's something you just have to be a bit aware of when you're working with a spray that has mica in it. You might want to just let it dry naturally and be a bit more hands-off, so that the mica can still be seen once the product has dried. Lastly, this is actually the original colour sprays that were ever available by Lindys Stamp Gang, and this is a new product for us. We've just started selling these this year, and they're a really nice product to work with. I'm just going to show you how they come, because it's different to any other product. So when they arrive, it's actually not got any liquid in there. So you get your spray and you can see the mica in there, but you can't always see how much mica is in the bottom, and the quantity of mica can vary from colour to colour, and I guess that depends on how much they need to get the effect of that particular colour that they want. So these are really different. Great for us to import from another country because they're lightweight. Great for us to send to you because there's no liquid in it, so they're nice and light for us to ship out to you guys as well. And the cool thing about this is you can already see, because the water's not added, you can see how chalky fine the mica powder is. Mica comes in all kinds of grades, so it can be really finely ground or it can be slightly chunkier, and I really believe that with this product they're using a very finely ground mica product, and that means that your nozzle is less likely to clog. So they guarantee these will not clog. This product and this company guarantees you won't have any issues with that. So you can see quite easily, and then all you need to do is just open it and you add hot water into the bottle, you let it sit for a few minutes, and then you're good to go. So that's something new you might like to try. In my experience, the colour you see on the label is the colour that the product will end up being. Some of these, if they've got mica in them, they're a two-tone. These ones are called Starburst. There are other products by Lindys Stamp Gang which don't have mica in them, so they're a solid colour. So I'm really looking forward to trying them. And of course you can make your own. So if you get a water bottle, we've got these new spray bottles we've got available now. They're quite a nice size. They're bigger than the older ones, the black lidded ones that we used to have. And we tested all kinds of different spray mechanisms, and we quite like this one because it's got quite a nice fine mist, and you can add your re-inkers to your water in the bottle quite easily, which means you can adjust not only the colour, but you can adjust the intensity of the colour, or you can custom mix your own colours. So I've done this with Distress Inks and Adirondack ink re-inkers, and also Archival. You do have to be aware. I mean, obviously Archival has oil in it, so bear that in mind, but there's only one way to find out if it's going to work, and that's to give it a go. The cool thing that I quite like about this is if you're going to do this kind of thing, it's quite fun to custom mix colours, and you can vary the intensity by how much re-inker you add. So it's probably quite a good idea to start light and then perhaps give that a bit of a spray, and then come back and have a look and see if it's the intensity that you want it to be, or if it's too pale and wussy. So that's just got 3 drops of re-inker in it, and you can see that it's really quite pale. I give that, obviously it takes a couple of goes to get going, and if I spray that on here, you see that is really, really very soft and very subtle. It's just a hint of green about that. So if you want to mix that up and change it, then you just go ahead and add loads more re-inker. And sometimes people will add a whole dropper full. So it's really up to you how crazy you want to be. But it's fun. You can make turquoises by using blue and green. You can make really nice oranges using reds and yellows. So when you're buying re-inkers, it also pays to just think a little bit about primary colours if you're intending to do some colour mixing. So let it come through, and then you see, look at the colour now. I've made a nice blue turquoise because I added a load more blue and not a lot of green. So this is quite fun, playing about with these things and mixing it up. Now what about if we took a bottle of paint? This is water and paint mixed together. So what's going to happen if we put a drop of re-inker into that? This is cranberry. So let's just see. You kind of feel like a bit of a mad scientist when you do this kind of thing. And look at that. So I've just got the white paint in there and then added some cranberry to it. And you can see where the paint's not, where it's settled at the bottom, which is quite handy because I wouldn't have known that otherwise. Okay, so that's created a really soft pink. So if we add a little bit of, let's just turn that over. Oh, look at that, see that colour there? So if we add a little bit of butterscotch to that, presumably we'll get a bit more of an orange colour going on. And this is where you can just have so much fun. The cool thing about making a paint spray like this is, of course, you get an opacity that you don't get with a dye spray. Dye sprays are always going to be translucent, and the other thing about a dye spray like this, water-based, is that sometimes they're not permanent and sometimes the colour can bloom through. If you've ever tried to cover over the top of something like this with gesso because you don't like it and you just want to slap gesso over the top and start again, and then you've noticed the colour blooming through, that can sometimes be a bit of a headache. So with a paint spray like this, you're not going to get that problem. You have a level of opacity and it's also going to be permanent once it's dry. So there's something to bear in mind about your paint sprays. Making your own. If you're going to use mica powders to make your own, do look through your mica powder collection and try to find those mica powders that are finer than others. So this one here I can see is quite chunky. I can actually see little grain particles, whereas this one just looks really like a piece of metal. So I'm going to opt for that over the chunky stuff because this is more likely to clog the nozzle of my bottle. So that's kind of how I roll with that kind of thing. Now also, don't forget, you can use your sprays on top of other surfaces, and I know you guys are all experts at doing this kind of thing, but if you want to spray on top of gesso, actually you saw me do that before on this sample, there was a bit of gesso on there. You've also got loads of other products that you can spray on top of that add interest to what you're doing. So this has got some golden gel medium. In fact, it is this one here, which is an extra heavy gel, and it's a gloss. So that one is, it's going to give you a bit more substance, and you can spray that on the top, and you can see here it's sort of sunk down into the areas of the paper, and what I might do is just sort of build it up, so you can let it dry a bit and build it up, and you might get different aspects of it sitting on top. Let's just try it with another colour as well. We might be able to make a purple by mixing two colours together. But it is quite nice if you have texture, then you can really create a lot more interest with your sprays when you've got texture on the surface to begin with. So just having that stenciled that area, I used one of these Crafters Workshop stencils here, and I just stenciled the gel through onto the piece of paper, and then it just adds a whole lot more interest to what you're doing with your sprays. So don't be scared to muck about with your gel mediums and your grunge paste. You can even use your sprays to tint your grunge paste as well. Any colour medium is going to be fantastic for doing tinting and things like that. When you're mixing your paints, do bear in mind the difference between your opaques and translucents. So if you make a spray with an opaque paint, like I've done here, I started with Snowflake, you're going to get an opaque spray. If you mix your paint into a water and it's a translucent paint, then you're going to get much more of a translucent spray. There is a sort of a trick to it, and I will quickly show you, and this is all turning into a bit of a demo session. So when I'm making a paint spray, I always put some water in the bottle first, and the reason for that is that it stops the paint from getting stuck in the very bottom of the bottle. It's logical probably to put the paint in first and then fill up with water, but if you do it the other way around, you can see how much opacity you've got, and like I said, the most important thing, it stops the paint from just getting stuck in the bottle. So this is a translucent, this is banana, and I'm just going to put a little bit in first. I don't put lots of paint in because I actually just kind of like to try first and then see before I add too much more in. I mean, look at the colour of that. That's still pretty cool. It's not been, even though we've got a load of water in there. And can you see how the paint is sticking to the side of the bottle there, where it ran down the side and the bottle wasn't wet? That's what I mean. That's what's going to happen if you put the paint in first at the bottom of the bottle. It's going to get stuck. So by putting it in last, it is easier to amalgamate that in, but perhaps what I should have done is shaken the water around the whole bottle before I added any in, and then the paint wouldn't have got stuck to the sides. There we go. So that's now all amalgamated in there, and then you're good to go. Now, you probably noticed that I'm working on paper towel. I do, when I'm spraying, really like to work onto paper towel because I can just get my paint going first before the full concentration comes through, and then I can put it on top of another surface. And look how cool that's going to be. It's going to work because the pink is still wet. The paint is going to work in with the pinks and create oranges and other colours. So you can have so much fun actually combining paint sprays with dye sprays. Gives you a whole new realm of things to explore and have fun with. Don't forget, you can also mix other colours into those. So if you wanted to make a more vibrant orange, a drop of claret in there would really create, a bit more of an orange tone. You can also mix your paints with your re-inkers, as I've already shown you. So lots of fun to be had over the next 2 weeks. I hope that you'll come along and show us what you like to do. This is fantastic for scrapbooking backgrounds, for journaling, all kinds of different things, card making and everything. But we will be getting a lot of new products loaded onto the website over the next week or so. And if you've seen anything today and it's not online yet, you can always call us and we'll do our best to help you over the phone. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time, and I hope you have fun enjoying your sprays. Take care.